Being the first person in my family to attend college made me very proud. And when I went there, my impression of college, because my dad was so proud, was kids walking around with books, but it was totally different. It really was. It was the experience of my life. While I was there, all I could think about is I'm going to become a dentist. But I remember my father telling me over and over stories about a man who started a chain, Ray Kroc. You know the actual business itself. We all purchase food from there our entire lives. And he told me about, how he started and how he never gave up. And he started this national chain, which is now today a multi-billion-dollar chain. But it just stuck. So as I went through several entrepreneurial businesses that I started over the years, I knew it's going to one day come to the point where I would actually wanted to get into the restaurant business. It was just something I had to do. So one day I saw in a building a spot that was available, that I was working my marketing firm that I had. I went to the owners of the building and drew up a concept that I felt was needed. A Southern cuisine, if you will, comfort food. We all love it. I told him about it, I drew it up, and he liked what I drew. And he said, I'm gonna give you an opportunity, and I'm gonna give you some free rent. I said, well, thank you. But the problem was I knew nothing about the restaurant business at all. I was going on aggressive ignorance. You have to believe it, I told you, to achieve it. So I said to myself, I'm gonna make this happen. I remember telling my marketing team, I have this idea. And the name of it is the Carolina Kitchen, where you get your chicken and much, much more. They started cheering. It was so many years ago and saying, woof, 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 like Arsenio Hall at the time, which was on. And I told them, we're going to make the money because we're going to take this restaurant downstairs and we're going to convert into the best Southern cuisine restaurant this world had ever seen. Well, I went and I tried to conquer, but I ran into so many challenges because I didn't know what I was doing. But I told all my soldiers at that particular time to walk the streets of downtown Silver Springs where my office was. And I made a brochure to say if a restaurant was to open, what type of restaurant would you like? Mexican, Asian, hamburger, hot dog. Southern cuisine went out. A, B, and C, how much do you spend for lunch? $6 went out. A, B, and C, what colors would you like to see a restaurant? Red and yellow went out. What type of music would you like to listen to? Jazz went out. And all I did was collect over 10,000 questionnaires. And this little thing at the end said, give us your name, your phone number, and a new thing called at that time, email. It was brand new. Most people didn't even have one. And then a week before I opened, I had my secretaries at the time call each and every one of them, say, congratulations, you're going to get 10% off your meal and a free beverage if you come to the grand opening to the Carolina Kitchen, where you get your chicken and much, much more. And you know what? Leading into that day, I had some issues. I had just come back from the 1996 Olympics and lost so much money selling hats and T-shirts because everybody was selling hats and T-shirts. And the bomb went off, if you remember that Olympics. And came back and was walking out of my restaurant not really knowing what I was going to do because only thing I had left to do was buy the food. $16,000 for one bill, $22,000 for the other bill, the perishables. I made the one payment and I was COD. But the second payment, when the truck came, I didn't have it. I walked out of the building and seen a lady walking down the side. When she saw me looking sad, and I'm always looking up. You got to keep a great attitude. Attitude adds to altitude. Trust me, it'll take you, your attitude is everything. But she saw it wasn't the same, and I had met her weeks before. She said, young man, you ready for your grand opening? I seen this opening. Your team members are out telling the whole downtown Silver Springs. I said, ma'am, I don't think I'm going to be able to open. She said, why? I said, because I'm $16,000 short. What? I'm $16,000 short. She said, but you got to open. Everybody's waiting for you to open. I said, well, I'm 16. It's nothing I could do. Later on that day, my secretary came in my office and said, Mr. London. I said, yes, ma'am. It's a lady here to see you. And she walked in my office And she gave me $16,000. I said, ma'am, I can't take this. She said, you're a sharp young man. You're doing something great in the community. These young people are looking sharp, wearing suits and ties. They're very respectful. I got to give you this. You're making me proud. You're making us proud. I can't take it. She said, you take it. I can't take it. She said, you take it. I said, okay, and I'll pay you back double. She said, just make me proud. I've saved that money up, but it's time for me to pass it on. I opened up the next day and it was a line wrapped around the building. The first thing I said when I opened the door was, welcome, welcome, welcome. And the people walked in, didn't know how to do anything. We made everything one time. One time. So when macaroni cheese ran out, we out of macaroni cheese. Somebody had 10-piece wings, 10-piece wings, 10-piece wings, 10-piece wings, 10-piece wings. Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? They're in the refrigerator, in the refrigerator, in the refrigerator. They're frozen, they're frozen, they're frozen. Everybody was cussing us out. Didn't know what I was doing. All I knew is I had to succeed. And we made it through that first day and we didn't get out of there until like 4 in the morning. And every day for 4, 5, 6 in the morning, sometimes the sun was coming up for almost a year. And I gutted it out. And sometimes I didn't know what I was going to make it. My car was on repo. My house was on repossession or going in foreclosure. Everything I was going to lose. But I stuck in there because I believed it. I knew I was not going to fail. 98% of all restaurants go out of business within the first 1 or 2 years. But I just stuck it out. I lived in that restaurant and I learned that business one step at a time. And here I am, 30 years later. And I can proudly say that I have 4 locations and building another 5 right now. I'm about to have 9, maybe even 10 units. Nothing happens overnight. Never said it was going to be easy. I just say it's going to be worth it. I'm so proud I never gave up. And don't you ever give up on your dreams. Because guess what? A dream is just a wish unless you write it down and more importantly, start acting upon it.